How are we, everybody? Good to see you all here, if you are indeed here. Let's have a little look. Wednesday afternoon, I had a bit of free time this afternoon, so thought I'd jump on and do a live. I haven't done one of these for quite a little bit, actually. I haven't done one all year. What is it? 20th of January? 18th of January? 17th? 17th of January, there we go. Let me just turn myself down here because I hear myself coming through on a delay. Hold on. I do hear myself. There we go. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? A lot of big news going on in the world of mixed martial arts. UFC 297 this weekend. Jim Miller looked fantastic. Magomed Ankalaev got a win, put himself in pole position. And that is correct, Q. No man alive could predict the madness that we're going to have in 2024. Awesomely autistic and Christy and Jeffrey, you guys were having quite a little chit chat, weren't you? MMA for life. I am good, brother. We had fight announcements last night. Justin Gaethje taking on Max Holloway. What's his face? Jim Miller. Jim Miller back in action against Bobby King Green, Dricus Du Plessis, and Sean Strickland this weekend. So lots and lots and lots to talk about. UFC 300, thoughts on that, etc., etc. Elliot says, Mike, how often do you goon? It's a new stretching technique. I don't know what that means, mate. I don't know what that means. Who's ready for the man dance this weekend? Strickland or Du Plessis? What do we think? What do we think on that one? I'm leaning towards Du Plessis simply because he's finished 19 out of 20 fights. He's on a 6-fight win streak. He's finished them all. But Strickland's no easy task, not for anybody. And I think that he's getting better and better with every single fight. I'll tell you what about Strickland. When he beat Israel Adesanya, about 2 weeks later, I was at the UFC PI, and I'm going for a little training session, and who's there? Who's training? Sean Strickland. Only a couple of weeks or so after winning the belt, so the man's always in the gym. I saw a video of him today looking in the best shape he's ever been. What a fake friend to Strickland, Bisping. Ooh, you're hard. But yeah, no, Strickland always training, always sparring, as we know. So it's going to be good. Can't wait for this one, actually. I'm very, very excited. Charlie says, what was my toughest fight? Probably the Anderson Silva one. Well, it was easy. I was coasting until I got a knee in the face when I wasn't even looking. So UFC 300 had a massive addition last night, and it's already a ridiculous card. I see a lot of people bitching online. What are you bitching about? That's my problem. I mean, look at this. There's only 8 fights announced so far, right? There's going to be at least another 4, maybe 5. Sometimes you have 15 fights on a card. They are all sensational matchups, all brilliant matchups. Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway. That's the big announcement last night. What do we think about that one? Hold on, I'll put a poll up. Thank you, John. That's my editor in the background. 65% of you have Sean Strickland. 65% of you might be wrong. Not saying you will be, of course. 35 might also be wrong. I think for Strickland, if he plays it safe, uses his usual style, employs the jab and moves a lot, that's his best chance of victory. It really is. Because if he gets mad, if he gets angry, gets too emotional, and tries to have a tear-up with Dricus Du Plessis, he'll probably lose that one. I just think Dricus hits harder. I mean, he's a finishing machine. He really is. Karate Kid 89 says, do I put jam or cream on my scones first? That's actually a good question. Here's what I do. I cut the scone in half. I put cream on one side and jam on the other. Boom. Join them together. It's a lovely combination. Anyway, we're not here to talk about jams and scones. Jam and scones. Jam and cream, even. Do I think DDP lasts 5 rounds? He's never seen 5 rounds and had that nose surgery to fix his breathing. I think he can go 5 rounds. You're right. You know, when you look at Du Plessis, one thing that I think Strickland certainly has a big advantage of is the cardio. You know, I think he's leaps and bounds ahead in that department. Sean spars all the time. That's partly why he has such great cardio. He's not overly muscled, and he's very serious when it comes to his training. We know he's always messing around and always joking, talking shit and all the rest of it, but when it comes to training, Strickland's in the gym 24/7 pretty much. But I think Dricus, given the magnitude of the fight, I think he's going to go 5 rounds. But the thing with Dricus, why he gets tired, is because he doesn't conserve his energy. He loads up, he swings with 100% force with every shot that he throws, right? So when you do that, you get tired quicker. Big Bad Wolf says, you and Hendo had a pretty heated rivalry back in the day. Are we cool now? I'm a fan of both of you. I've got nothing against Dan Henderson. That was a long, long time ago. I wish him all the best. He came out and talked a bit of shit recently, I think, but hey, no skin off my nose. I like Dan Henderson. He's a legend of the sport, and I wish him nothing but the best. All right, he has done 5 rounds in other promotions. MMA for Life said that. You know what? I did think that. I'm sure he's been a champion of other promotions. He's only been to a decision once, though. Only been to a decision once. Let's have a little look-see-do at the record. Dricus Du Plessis. Hold on. Bring it over here so I can see a little bit. Yeah, he's only been to a decision once. They're all stoppages. Decision. Where's the decision? Where is the decision? Did I go past it? I must have went past it. Must have bloody went past it, mate. There it is. Brad Tavares. 3 rounds. He's never been 5 rounds, you pillock. Even though he was a champion, he's trained for 5 rounds. But he's never been 5 rounds. Have you ever been to Barnsley? Do you know what? I haven't. I haven't been to Barnsley. And no, I am not intoxicated. Come on, bro. Any more guests? Where was that one? Where was that question here? Forget it. Any more guests for BYM? Tomorrow I have Jim Miller joining me, and I've also got Alexander Rakic, so those videos will be on this channel. But make sure you subscribe to BYM if you haven't done that, Believe You Me podcast. And thank you very much if you do. Do I really think that Max is going to stand and bang with Justin Gaethje? Well, Gavin, he hasn't got much of a choice, has he? I don't think, with respect to Max, he has the wrestling to take down a Justin Gaethje. Justin is a very highly accredited wrestler. When I went, I think it's Phoenix, Arizona, when I commentated there, we commentated in somewhere like one of the old university stadiums. And there's actually all kinds of awards and stuff on the wall about Justin Gaethje and his wrestling credentials. So I don't think Max has the ability to take him down. Obviously, he's coming up from 45 to 55. He won't be as strong. When you look at Max Holloway, he's very lean, right? He's tall for the division of 45. He's very lean as well. He might be able to bulk up a little bit. He might be able to put a bit of muscle on, but he's not really going to do that. I don't think he's moving to 155. He's just taking a fun fight. He's trying to be the BMF, and I respect him for it. I think the path to victory for Max Holloway is to try and point him on the feet. I don't think he'll knock him out. He's not knocking Justin Gaethje out. But he could win a decision. Of course, he's got to be careful. Max Holloway, legendary chin, never been knocked out. But it's a tough fight. It really is a tough fight. Max will not be teaching Justin how to punch. Well, Jeremy, I never said he would be. I said he'll be fighting him on the feet, though. Might not be teaching him. Might be teaching him a lesson. You never know. UFC Short says, DJ Mikey B, big fan here, brother. Thank you very much. Just a random one. Have you ever been to a small town near Portsmouth called Gosport? No, I haven't. There's people in this town that claim that they know you personally. Well, the people of Gosport are talking shit, bro. Never been there. What do I think about Gaethje and Max Holloway risking potential title fights? Yeah, that is a good point, what you bring up there. Who said that? John Olive. If Gaethje gets beaten, of course, he's not going to fight Islam for the belt. That will go to the winner of Sarukian and Oliveira. But I think Gaethje is very confident of this matchup, and that's why he's taking it, right? Max Holloway, I mean, yeah, he's the next best featherweight. That could be Ilia Topuria if Topuria beats Volkanovski. But right now, the general consensus is the next best featherweight after Volk is Max Holloway, right? If he loses to Gaethje, I don't think his stock drops. I really don't. I think, if anything, he gets a lot of respect. It's a tough matchup. We all know that. He's the #1 contender at lightweight. It's a very, very tough stylistic matchup. Gaethje does hit harder and he's got very good strikes. So if he loses, which early prediction, I think he will. I think Gaethje goes out there and probably beats him. But if he loses, he doesn't lose anything per se. He'll get paid. He has the ability to become the BMF. He's staying busy. It's another training camp. He'll get a lot of respect from the fight community. And he'll still be one of the top featherweights on the planet. So there you go. Do I enjoy Muay Thai? Love Muay Thai. Absolutely love it. And I loved training Muay Thai when I was out in Thailand. Spent a fair bit of time out there. Great place. Love the people. Love the food. Love the training. Muay Thai, very effective striking. Proto Man says, Mike, just rewatched The Ultimate Fighter. I never noticed how much of a dumpster fire Team Shamrock was. Even fighting his own team. Have I got any memories? Got a lot of memories. Ultimate Fighter 3 for me was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. What an experience that was. I'm going to undo the top button. It's hot in here, like always. Brilliant. I absolutely loved it from start to finish. Had a great time. I mean, so many laughs. When I watch it back, it is a funny episode. Any stories that never made the air? Oh, I don't know, mate. How long have you got? Bisping, did you ever admit how much of a little girl you were during COVID? Well, you know what, mate? I have. Because turns out the government were lying to us all, doesn't it? You know what I mean? I wouldn't say I was a little girl. We'd never seen or heard of COVID-19 before. So when it came about, I was like, shit, this sounds bad. Let's try and do the right thing. Turns out that it was a bit of an overreaction from everybody. So there you go. They don't claim to know everything, don't claim to be an expert, but generally, I do follow people that are more informed than I am on certain things. You know what I mean? Didn't know there was a whole conspiracy. Didn't know people were talking shit. And when I still see people with masks on, I do roll my eye. I was walking through the airport the other day and someone had a mask. She had it on top of her head because she was talking to a friend. I'm like, just take the goddamn mask off. Anyway, Bisping, I think you suffer with CTE. Well, Meta Shorts, you're the one coming on someone's YouTube channel talking shit, bro. CTE, maybe I do. Maybe I don't. What is your reasoning? With today's superior weight cutting and training methods, and if a 26-year-old Bisping were active today, would he possibly be fighting at welterweight? No chance, buddy. No chance. 185 was too much of a stretch for me, to be honest. Too much. You know, it was. I mean, I made weight comfortably, but I was never the best version of myself. I was always sucked down. I was always malnourished. So 170 would just be mental. Well, that was disappointing to hear. What was? Michael, do you think Max will be able to fight despite the ligma? Oh, dear. Khamzat teases 300. No, I know he did. I didn't see it. I saw a post on Instagram where he said Khamzat teases return at UFC 300. But it was one of those where you're going to swipe to the side and then watch the video. I thought, well, I've got the gist. I haven't seen it though. Let's have a look. Let's see if there's anything on online about it. Let's have a little look-see-do. So we'll go this one. We'll go new window. Khamzat Chimaev. Now, you never know. I mean, if Khamzat does fight, who's he going to be fighting? Right? What would your guess be? Why did that do that? Khamzat Chimaev. Return. Boom. Let me get rid of this at the side. Bosh. Done. News. Israel Adesanya injury leaves Khamzat #1 option for Du Plessis versus the winner at UFC 297. Well, Israel Adesanya is going to be there, isn't he? Israel Adesanya is going to be cage side. I don't know if that means that he's going to be challenging the winner. He might do. He's got history with both guys. Got a member in the house. Who's that? J-Man Games. What's up, buddy? Welcome to the club. He's got history with Dricus Du Plessis, of course. A lot of nasty beef between the two of them there. Sean Strickland, of course, he lost to him. You know, so I'm sure he would love to have a rematch. And I'm sure Strickland would welcome it because he beat him very convincingly. And as champion, you want the biggest fights possible. You want to make the most amount of money. And Israel Adesanya would probably be, I don't know, one of the biggest draws that he could face. Khamzat is up there though. Khamzat's a star, man. Khamzat does big numbers. So maybe it would be Khamzat Chimaev. And I did see that Dricus is open to turn it right around straight away. So anyway, there we go on that. Let's go back to the chat and see what shite some of you lot are coming out with. Michael, I was making a point that Max was teaching his opponent out during the fight. We're saying he will not be teaching Justin during the fight. No, I don't think he will be teaching him. He'll be fighting him. Hey, Bisping, my name is Morgan Donnelly, and my other half has stopped giving me pleasure. Should I buy a pocket pussy mold of Adesanya? Oh, my God. Little breast. I'm sure Adesanya, I'm sure Strickland has some for sale on his website. How does a prime Bisping do against Strickland? Well, I used to spar with him quite a lot. And I used to do pretty good. But, granted, long time ago, not taking anything away from the champ. That was a long time ago. He's no doubt improved leaps and bounds because he's been doing it a lot. I've been retired for, 6 years now. So he's definitely improved. But back in the day, used to do just fine. Got a couple of super chats coming in from Hunter B. Do I think Strickland will try to fight more as a counter-striker as DDP mainly throws 100% in his shots, but does expose himself quite often? Well, yeah, that's exactly what I said before. That's what he's got to try and do. That's the path to success for Strickland, right? If Dricus fights like he does, and he will, because that's the way he always fights, he's going to go forward, he's going to walk him down, he's going to swing. And when you swing, if you miss, obviously, you overextend yourself. When you overextend yourself, you leave yourself open to counter shots like you're saying, Hunter B. So you've hit the nail on the head. That is the path to victory. And Sean's pretty good at controlling his emotions in fights. He's got a great team around him as well. So I don't think he's going to go out there and blow being the champion by just being crazy. I don't think he's got to where he's at by not being able to follow a game plan either. We got some members for 20 months. Kostadin Hadzibanov. Props for coming up with Slappiless. There we go. Slappiless. And we got another one from you as well. Khamzat sits out for 1 year plus, fights a rusty welterweight and a middleweight and gets a title shot at middleweight. How does that make sense? Well, Kenny, well, I understand what you're saying, right? And there's a lot of people that kind of feel that way. And Dricus Du Plessis feels that way. But let's have a look at the UFC rankings right here. Because when you look at the rankings, you can start to understand why. So if we go down here to middleweight, where are we? So there we go here, right? So we got Strickland, Adesanya, he just got beat. Maybe he's the next guy. We don't know that. Du Plessis fighting this weekend. Robert Whittaker is coming off a loss. You don't fight for the belt coming off a loss. And plus, if Dricus wins, he just beat him anyway. Jared Cannonier, fair play. Jared Cannonier definitely has a stake. He had a close fight. He beat Strickland when Strickland wasn't the champ. I'm sure Strickland would love to have another dance with him and try and get that one back. People were split. A lot of people thought Strickland won that fight, including Sean Strickland. But then outside of that, Marvin Vettori, I love Marvin. He's not in a position. Paulo Costa, I think he's fighting Robert Whittaker. I saw something online. Maybe not. Roman Dolidze, Khamzat Chimaev is number 9, but he did just beat Kamaru Usman. And in terms of what he's done, the way he's dominated people, and his last fight was against Kamaru Usman, who was the pound-for-pound number 1. And let's remember this. Dana said to Kamaru and Khamzat, whoever wins fights for the belt. You know what I mean? So, there it is. You know what I mean? Dana said that. He's the president of the organisation. And I understand what you're saying. He hasn't been on a massive run, a massive tear, but he's a big star. He does numbers. He's dominated everyone. Well, not everyone, not Kamaru or Gilbert Burns, but he's undefeated, right? And that's a sexy thing to have on the fight cards. It does help sell pay-per-views and stuff like that. So, anyway, I don't make those decisions, mate, but I wouldn't be mad. Are you telling me you wouldn't want to see that fight? You wouldn't want to see Khamzat versus Strickland? I would. You wouldn't want to see Khamzat versus Dricus? I would. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Cannonier has definitely got a case. But, you know what I mean? Outside, the only other logical sense right now is Jared Cannonier at number 4. So, I mean, that does make sense. MC Bisping. Who would have won between Gamebred and Notorious in their primes at 170? Would have been a good fight. Would have been a good fight, but I think I got to go with, in his prime, Jorge Masvidal. I don't know, though. McGregor, in his prime, was phenomenal. Hi, Bisping. Not seeing you from Tales from the Octagon 2. How you doing? I'm good, Charlie. For anyone that came, if anyone's on here that came to Tales from the Octagon 2, great success. Thank you to everyone that came along. The energy was phenomenal. The Manchester show was amazing. The London one was kind of like a live rehearsal because, you know, I don't do this kind of thing. But it was still a great night. But when we got to the Manchester one, I tweaked it a little bit. Yeah, Manchester was amazing, man. What an atmosphere. Oh, dear. What does Bisping think about Ian Garry? Well, I think he's a great fighter. I think he was whinging a little bit online and all that type of stuff, you know. But yeah, lesson learned. He's a good lad. He's a young man. He's a great fighter. Let's focus on that. What do we think about Sean Strickland? Let me just end this poll here. So still 63% of you have Strickland winning that fight. What do we think about Sean Strickland, though? Sean Strickland was talking shit about him, talking shit about Sean O'Malley, talking shit about a lot of people, but then when Dricus talked shit about him, all of a sudden, whoa, you don't go there. You know, Dricus called it out himself. He said that's double standards. All of a sudden, he's trying to go down the victim route. Not my words, the words of the fighters. But there is some foundation to those statements. Mickey, do you think people want to see Sean gone? I don't think so. I think he's a colourful character. I think people like him, characters like that, you know, controversial, outspoken, talk well. You don't have to agree with what he says, but he's a good talker. I think they're good for the sport. And I don't think people necessarily want to see him gone. No, far from it. And I know he's very, very popular. Certainly, you know, he's a popular guy. How do prime champions, this is G Jesus 051, says, how do prime champions of back then do if they fought in this era? Would guys like Chuck Liddell, Rampage, Cruz, Edgar Silva, or DJ survive? The answer is yes, 100%. Chuck Liddell has still got the skills to compete with the top guys if he was in his prime. Because, yeah, all right, the game's progressed a little bit, but not much. There's still people with Chuck Liddell's style doing great. Quinton Rampage Jackson was a long-time training partner of mine. Great guy. He had some great memories training. Good wrestler. Hard to submit. Ridiculous knockout power. Strong as an ox. Why couldn't he compete? Dominic Cruz, well, he's still competing, but he's getting older. So that's why he's not getting the results. Frankie Edgar, Anderson Silva, Demetrius Johnson. Yeah, mate. Yeah, they'd all do just fine. Problem is, it's the age. You get older. You slow down. It's the wear and tear on the body. It's the training camps. Do you know what I mean? All that. The training, the fighting, the stress, the age. Put it all together, mate. You start losing fights because you're getting fucking older. Simple as that, mate. Bernie Mac says Chuck Liddell's the man. Excuse me. And he is. Absolute legend of the sport. If it weren't for guys like Chuck Liddell, the early guys, Tito Ortiz, people like me wouldn't have come along, and people that we watch and enjoy today wouldn't be doing this. Bisping, who can beat Bo Nickal? Oh, not many people. Not many people are going to beat Bo Nickal. He's just a tough stylistic matchup for a lot of people. I don't know. Again, let's go back to those rankings, right? Let's go back to the rankings. This sounds crazy. This sounds a hype job. Strickland would have a tough time. He would. Bo Nickal's wrestling is that good. Adesanya would have a really tough time. Du Plessis, Whittaker, Cannonier, Vitor, they would all have a tough time. Let me tell you, somebody with that kind of wrestling ability, they are motherfuckers to deal with. Now, granted, wrestling in an octagon and wrestling on a wrestling mat are two very different things. But it seems like Bo Nickal's got the jiu-jitsu, he's got the acumen, he's got the fight IQ, he's got the humbleness, he's got the work ethic. I think he's going to go a very long way, guys. I think he's going to go a very, very long way. I don't know if he'll be a champion, but I wouldn't be surprised. What's my prediction for Allen versus Evloev? Okay, let's have a look. UFC 297. Let's have a little look at this one here. listen, Arnold Allen rebounding after a loss, as we know, to Max Holloway. Before that, he was on an 11-fight win streak. 19-2. Lost to Max Holloway. Clearly lost. Max looked phenomenal, as always. Arnold Allen didn't do bad. You know, he showed up. He made it a fight. He had some success. Prior to that, look at that win streak he was on. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable, right? And now he's coming back against Khamzat Evloev, a man that's 17-0, I think. Let's just double check that. 17-0, right? He's a Russian. Wrestles well, good jiu-jitsu, 10 finishes, yeah. That's a tough one for Arnold Allen, but I believe in the almighty Arnold Allen. I really do, he's very good. Bisping, if Sean wins, how can you see it happening? By decision, mate. Zakai Williams. If Sean Strickland wins this, it will be via decision. If Dricus Du Plessis wins, it will be a stoppage, a TKO, even maybe a submission. If Justin beats Max, how likely do you think Volk gets a crack at the BMF belt? Interesting, yeah. You never know. Maybe. You know, I think we've seen that 3 times though, right? I don't think they would make that straight away. I don't think they would go, oh, let's do Volk versus Max for the BMF belt. We've seen that 3 times. Would the appetite still be there? Yeah, sure it would. But is the better matchups for Max? Is the better matchups for Volkanovski that we haven't seen? You know, Volk's 35, I think. 35. By the way, I did an interview with him yesterday. It's on the channel, so check it out if you haven't seen it. He's always such a great guy. I love talking to Volkanovski. He's such a humble, down-to-earth, just a normal dude. You know what I mean? Just a very, very regular guy. Hasn't let the success go to his head. Still a brilliant fighter, and he's really confident about Ilia Topuria. But it's not an easy fight. Not an easy fight at all. So, what else is going on in the world outside of mixed martial arts? Anything non-MMA you want to talk about? Arnold Allen, Khamzat Evloev, as we said, that's good. What do we think here? Chris Curtis, Andre Barriol? Probably Curtis. Bit more dynamic. Neil Magny, Mike Malott. That Mike Malott out of Canada, you might not know the name, but trust me, keep an eye out on that guy. Look at this. I think he's 10-1, 10-2, something like that. 10-1, all finishes. He's the new George St. Pierre. I'm telling you right now, you heard it here first. And this fight card is just basically a showcase for him. But he's going to beat Neil Magny. That won't be easy. Will not be easy at all. Anyway, let's go back to the chat, see what we're all saying, see what kind of abuse. Explain the fighter's mindset before a huge main event like this one this weekend. What happens during the warm-ups, the fighters' thoughts, etc. Big fan. Thank you, Tristan. Appreciate it. Yeah, so, well, obviously, the main thing before a big fight is the preparation. If you do the preparation, if you push yourself to the limit, if you get out of bed in the morning, you know, you do your miles, if you do everything you should do, then you show up confident, okay? Of course, you don't know you're going to win the fight, and that's where the nerves come from. That's where the anxiety comes from. But, you know, you're quietly confident. You believe in yourself. You fought your way to get to this position. You fought your way to the top, so to speak. Like Dricus Du Plessis, right? When he's going out there backstage, you know, he'll be thinking about the reason why he's here. And that's what you got to do. Give yourself positive reinforcements, you know what I mean? Think, well, I'm 20-2, sorry. 19 finishes. Beaten all 6 of my opponents. So you got to reinforce that belief in yourself. But also, you got to bloody have respect for your opponent, you know what I mean? So you go through the game plan with your coaches. You're warming up. You're practicing certain drills, certain grappling maneuvers, certain takedown defense, certain combinations that you think are going to be relevant in the fight. And you try and keep that self-doubt out of your mind. You know what I mean? But it's hard. It's hard to do, man. Will I be back in Manchester for Tales from the Octagon 3? I bloody hope so. I'm going to do a Tales from the Octagon 3. We only just finished the second one recently though, didn't we? So a little bit early to be talking about that just now. Let me speak to the promoters, see if they're on board for that, but I think they will be. The turnout in Manchester, man, it was absolutely packed. So many people there. Thank you all for being there once again. All right, Voorhees says, hey, Mike, have you heard of the new prospect? William Afton. William Afton, a.k.a. the man behind the slaughter. He's so fun because whenever he's hurt, he always comes back. Is that a joke? Am I missing something? Have you heard of the new prospect? See, I was expecting, Phil McCracken. Have you heard of Hugh Janus? All that good stuff. Is this one of them? William Afton, a.k.a. the man behind the slaughter. All right, behind the slaughter. William Afton, should we give him a little Google search? We'll do it. We'll go there. You never know what it's going to bring up. You just made that up. I know you did. Let's have a look-see-do. William Afton. Jesus, stop it. William Afton. Boom. Oh, there we go. Five Nights at Freddy's. I haven't seen that, mate. I'm not going to kids' movies. So, no, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, mate. Anyway, but thank you very much for the question. Appreciate that, buddy. What we got? We've got a few people jumping on now, almost 1,500 of you. Your life is a great story, inspiration. Ever thought of doing professional speaking to business groups? You know what? It's funny. No, I haven't. But that got mentioned recently. A couple of people that I know were talking about that, Yeah, and actually, I'm not going to say who it was, but a very, very well-known high-level football player reached out to me last week and wanted me to fly off to speak to their team beforehand. The team in question is not doing well at all. And it was absolutely crucial that they won their game. So they reached out to me and said, yeah, we really want you to come up and talk to them about persevering and not giving up on yourself and self-belief and stuff like that. Couldn't do it because I was commentating Magomed Ankalaev last week versus Johnny Walker. So, but yeah, there you go. You never know. Maybe I should have done it. Maybe it could have been my big introduction to the world of motivational speaking. Would I coach the Ultimate Fighter again? I bloody would. I would love to. Ultimate Fighter played a big part in my life. There it is. Start a petition right now. Dana White, me and DC, we coach the Ultimate Fighter. And then we have an eating contest in which DC would absolutely smoke me. Has your son thought any more about a fight career? No, I don't think he is. He's thinking about his career. He just graduated from college. Very proud of that. But no, he doesn't talk about fighting. He still does jiu-jitsu, still does some wrestling, coaches wrestling. But yeah, he's a smart kid. He could. If he wanted to do it, I know for a fact he could do it and be a success. But I don't think he wants to. I think he might end up having a fight or two, amateurish, just to say that he did it. But yeah. Mate, have you heard of my mate who's an up-and-coming MMA fighter, Link Strong? He's from Wimslow, and he said that he met you. Never heard of him, mate. Never met him. He's full of shit, unless it's a troll. Anthony's Miller Lesnar picks. You're right, I know. On my podcast with Anthony Smith said Jim Miller has a real chance of beating Brock Lesnar. And Jim Miller, Anthony, I think he said 50-50 chance. I was like, no, bro. No, but hey, you never know. Anything's possible. Dean Bernard says, big fan from South Africa here. Mate, big fan from South Africa. Can't do that. Dricus' high altitude training in Pretoria gives him an edge. So I didn't know that. Thank you very much. So he's been high altitude training. That will definitely help. Vegas has a little bit of altitude, I do believe. It's like, 2,000-3,000? Something like that. Let's have a look at this. Vegas altitude. All right, it's 2,000 square feet above sea level. 2,000 square feet. I'm going to sneeze. It's coming. No, it's gone. Thank God. But yeah, how high up is Pretoria, mate? Let me know, Dean Bernard. I'm not Googling that. Bisping versus Henderson 2-3. Revenge is sweet at UFC 300. Won't be happening, mate. Someone asked before, do I still train? I do train. I'll be doing jiu-jitsu this week again. I'm not on the mats very often. I'll still go in the garage. I hit the bag. I work out every day. Like this morning, what did I do? I did 30 minutes on the Peloton. It's better for my knees. I haven't been running quite as much lately. And then I did my weights. Today was chest and traps. And then I did like a really, really long stretch because I'm working on my flexibility. Then I did 25 minutes in the sauna. I got sent to sauna from Sun Home Saunas. Excuse me. Pardon me. Thought I was going to sneeze. Got a blocked nose. Yeah, so I've got a nice sauna at home now. So I did 25 minutes in the sauna. Then I came out of that and did 6 minutes in the ice bath. Everyone's doing the ice baths these days, but I'm loving it. Once you get used to it, it's not that hard. Everyone makes a big deal out of it. But Odin ice baths, thing's brilliant. You don't put ice in it. You just set it to the temperature that you want. I think it was 4 degrees Celsius this morning, so flipping cold. Cold enough for me anyway. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I do, that's kind of like my daily routine. And then now and again, I'll go into the gym, do a little jiu-jitsu. Are you training to resist choking Dom on Saturday? Well, if I was commentating, I might be, but I'm not commentating this week. I will be doing a live for the main event. So if you want to see some Bisping talk along, I will be live watching UFC 297 whilst it's going on and giving my thoughts and kind of alternative commentary, if you will. Not that it needs it, but yeah, make sure you tune in for that one if you need to. If you're not watching the fights, if you can't get the pay-per-view, if you're somewhere where you haven't got access to it, log in to the YouTube channel. Charlie says, do I miss Daz Morris training me? Shout out Daz Morris. Very, very good friend of mine, one of my best mates, and old Muay Thai coach, one of the boys, one of the team. Yeah, of course, man. I miss all those days. You know, I do miss. I was talking to Paul Felder. About this, and obviously Paul Felder was potentially in the running to fight Jim Miller. I miss getting ready for a fight. I miss the excitement of it. Look, listen, I would love to have a fight. It's very exciting. You feel alive. And of course, you've got the rush and the thrill and the money and all that type of stuff. But I miss the camaraderie with the team. I miss going to the gym with the boys. I miss sharing the laughs. You know what I mean? All the inside jokes and all the banter and the piss taking between the boys. And then jumping on a plane and flying off to the other side of the world, you know, and taking on an opponent. It's exciting as hell. I miss that, and I miss training with people like Daz Morris and all the rest of it. So there's your answer, buddy. Mike, why are fighters breaking through at an older age nowadays? I never thought about that, mate. Is that necessarily a thing? I don't know if that's definitely accurate. Some people might do because they start later in their career. Some people might do. I know I did. I mean, I was around for a long time, but I kind of became champ late in my career. When they stopped USADA. Speaking of which, Dricus Du Plessis had his first, he's got his jacket today, didn't he? 50 clean tests. So that's good. That's good. Bisping, have you heard of the rumour of Khamzat and Izzy? I haven't, mate. Hey, listen, that'd be great. I would love to see Khamzat versus Izzy. And for all you people bitching about him getting a title fight, you beat Israel Adesanya, shut the fuck up. You get to fight for the belt, right? Izzy bloody defended the belt, 6, 7 times? Something like that. So I would love to see that. I don't know if it is. I haven't seen that rumour. But if it's happening, yeah, I like it. Have I seen this one? People keep asking the same shit questions. Have I seen the film Paul Blart Mole Cop? What did I think of it? I haven't seen it. Oh, so Pretoria is 4,393 feet. So it's not crazy tall. It's not crazy high, should I say. I don't know if you'll feel that much more benefit than Strickland at 2,500 feet. I mean, yeah, you will get more benefit because clearly it's higher. I trained in Big Bear, California. I think that's like 7,000 or 8,000 feet high. I definitely got an advantage there. But yeah, look, listen, it will help Dricus for sure. Toronto, sea level, is it? Is Toronto sea level? Look it up for me, guys and girls. Anyway, you like my shirt? Oh, thank you very much. Bit of Burberry, don't you know? Had it for a while. I get a lot of compliments on this one. I do like it. Jones Aspinall, there's a good one. There's a good question. Look, we got a super chat first. I'll get to that in a minute. Jones and Aspinall. So, Tom's my mate. Tom Aspinall is a good friend of mine. And outside of that, I'm such a massive fan of him as a fighter and the way he carries himself. But Anthony Smith made a point on the podcast when we were talking about this. And it's I kind of find it hard to disagree with. Right? The point was that when Jones was injured, Dana announced that they were going to do an interim title. That Jones and Stipe was going to take place next year. Tom and Sergey were going to fight for the interim belt. And then down the line, they get to fight the winner of Stipe and Jones. And he's right. If I recall correctly, I don't remember it verbatim, the exact wording. But that was the crack. That was what Dana said. You know what I mean? And I think Tom and Sergey, for that matter, didn't pay attention to that part. They just saw the chance to fight for an interim title. Now, what Tom did was amazing. He went out there and became the champ and knocked out Sergey, did it on 2 weeks' notice. Just unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable. And then, yeah, of course, I get his frustration. Of course I do. And I understand a lot of people are frustrated as well. Because we have an interim champion and the champion, and they should fight. But that's just the situation, isn't it? That's what's happening. They haven't backed down from it. They haven't said we'll have a discussion. They've literally stuck to the gun. So we just got to accept it. And I think in the meantime, Tom defends the belt a couple of times. He continues to state his case. He continues to make the point, hey, listen, I'm the real champion here. If you want to be respected, Jones or Stipe as the champ, you got to fight me. He's in his prime. You continue fighting. You continue training. You continue to improve. And he makes a ton of money in the meantime. So it's not a bad situation. Because, listen, Tom believes that he can beat John Jones. And so do I. I'm not saying he does, but I believe he definitely has a potential to beat John Jones. Of course, I've always said that. But if he didn't beat Jones, then he'd no longer be the champion. I don't see anybody outside of Jones or Stipe, and I don't even really see them. But I don't see any of the other contenders giving Tom much of a problem. Cyril Gane on the feet for sure. But Tom can wrestle with the best of them. So there's his path to victory. So he can make a lot of money in the meantime. So it's not a bad situation if you look at it like that. Now, granted, we want legacy. We want greatness. We want to own the title of the best. We want to be undisputed. I get all of that. But when you look at it from the way I just laid out, not that bad. Have I ever watched Triple X Return of Xander Cage? Never heard of it, mate. Never heard of it. Sounds good, though. I did hear there was some beautiful English guy in that. Very handsome fella. You know. Let's have a look. It was me. I was trying to bring up a bloody image. What a dick. Bisping, what is my opinion on Iman Bender? Iman Bender. I'm a bender. There you go. Put that one in your little montage. Vote Reform UK. Not familiar with it, mate. What I do know is that the UK is in a real shit show right now. So's America. So's Canada. The world's going to shit. It really is. I mean, fortunately, I'm able to take care of my family, but a lot of people can't. A lot of people are struggling. Inflation's through the bloody roof. Cost of living is sky high. Government's making stupid bloody decisions and making life just genuinely harder. And the freaks are on the loose these days. My God, what is going on with the place? The border in America is just completely bloody open. I live in a really nice, quiet, crime-free area. We've had several break-ins just in our neighborhood. Police said it was all these Chilean gangs. A good buddy of mine, one of my very, very close friends, he went off to Maui for Thanksgiving. Had to fly back the next day because his house was broken into. Place has gone mad. Crime through the roof. Fucking massive gangs just running into shops, stealing everything. You can't even be charged with a criminal offence if what you steal from a store is less than $950. Tell me the logic behind that. What genius came up with that idea? Shouts out McGregor building homes for the homeless in Ireland. Yeah, indeed, man. Indeed. Listen, fair play to McGregor. He's made a lot of money and he's using a lot of it to give back. He really, so listen, well done to him. What felt better, punching Vin Diesel or punching Luke Rockhold? Well, in the movies, brother, you don't connect. You know, when I started doing a bit of acting, it's so funny because there's the fight choreographers, there's a lot of great people. But some of them are very condescending. They pull you to one side and they go, you know, right, listen, Mike, big fan of your work. Just want to tell you. So the main difference, okay, I know you're a fighter and you know martial arts, okay, but we're not actually connecting when we do this, okay? So that's number one, okay? And I'm like, bro, I'm well aware, you absolute idiot. You know, the amount of times I've had people tell me that. It's like, shut the fuck up. Oh dear. So yeah, I never punched Vin Diesel. I've never seen anyone causing more trouble for Jones than Gustafsson. You're right. Gustafsson pushed Jones to the absolute limit, but we all know the story, don't we? We know the story. Somebody's at the door, they're ringing the bell. Might be a delivery. No doubt Rebecca Bisping is having another package dropped off. Yeah, the story was apparently Jones never trained for that fight at all. Apparently he was out partying, having late nights, frequenting, you know, dens of iniquity. By all accounts, didn't train for it, but still got the job done in a sensational fight. So, you know, there you go. Did my chat get answered? I don't know. You tell me, Big Bad Wolf. You're the driver of this ship. I hope so. Let's have a look. I don't see it up there. Joel Miller says, I love everything you do. Thank you, Joel Miller. I appreciate that, brother. There's a lot of dickheads out there. A lot of people talk shit. A lot of people love to get in the comment section and just troll and, you know, say negative stuff. Do you know what I mean? Which I've never understood. You know, I appreciate all the support on the channel. I really do. It's grown massively. I never had any idea it would get to this kind of stage, so thank you all. And I do enjoy it. But you get people talking shit. You get people on Twitter. You know what I mean? Absolute fucking idiots. Which doesn't bother me. It just makes me laugh. It makes me crack a smile. Have you got nothing better to do with your time? You know, I can honestly, hand on heart, say that I've never gone to somebody's social media and like said nasty shit. Sometimes I'll post stuff about my kids. You know, it'll be like Callum's birthday or something like that. And some of the stuff that people say, you know, I posted something of my son Lucas. He's training MMA now. He hasn't been doing it very long, although he has learned very quick. He's really picking it up. And I posted a video of him doing a little bit of sparring, and all the comments were like, oh, look at this. This guy sucks, man. You need to tell him he needs to work on this and work on that. He's a child, and he's learning. You know what I mean? And he's the same height as me these days. And I guarantee he probably beat the shit out of whoever it was making that comment. Because what kind of sad bastard have you got to be to come and rip on some poor kid, some kid on Instagram? Do you know what I mean? Especially my kid. You know, hey up. We got Dylan Dennis back. Dylan, the dildo Dennis. Ladies and gentlemen, with a record of, has no record. What's up, Dylan? Hope you well, buddy. Me and Dylan, you might have saw that little video that we did. We saw each other at Madison Square Garden. We had a little mess around, you know. I thought I'd take it light on him. I could have picked him up and slammed him on his head, but he begged me not to. Nah, just messing, of course. Dylan, hope you well, buddy. Dylan Dennis asks here in the chat, do you want to see me on UFC 300? Well, Dylan, I will say, not being a prick. I would like to see you come over to the UFC and give it a go. I would. UFC 300, I don't know if that's the one, bro. I don't know if that's the one. Hope you're well, though, mate. Happy New Year. Keep doing whatever it is that you're doing, mate, and I wish you nothing but the best. Awesomely Autistic. Oh, my God. Was this at Aspinall's gym? I never saw this. Oh, well, I mean, I did see it, but I didn't know it was at Tom Aspinall's gym. So he says, did you see Eddie Hall get head kicked at Aspinall's gym? John, let me know via WhatsApp. Will I get demonetized if I... will I get demonetized if I play the bloody video? I'm going to have a look. Because this Eddie Hall is a strong man from the UK, right? Very strong man, very nice guy. I met him at the Arnold Sports Festival last year. Very nice guy. And he's trying to become an MMA fighter now. And there we go. That's YouTube. They're all on bloody YouTube. YouTube. We need a little X. Can't demonetize me on Twitter, you bastards. Oh well, maybe fuck it. He got head kicked and he got dropped. Wasn't knocked out though, but I did see that. Well, that's what happens. You go mess around, you fuck around, you find out. You go mess around at Tom Aspinall's gym. You know. Anyway, so yeah, good. Oh yeah, so John Brannigan, the editor, shouted out Big Bad Wolf's question, and thank you, John. Big Bad Wolf said, I think Strickland is a bad matchup for Khamzat because of his striking, grappling, defense, and cardio. Do you agree? Thank you, John. Certainly on the cardio side of things, Khamzat has an issue there. And if they did fight for the belt, it would be 5 rounds. On the ground, I think Sean is more than capable of defending himself. He's got a really good ground game. I think he probably has a good chance of stopping some of the takedowns. We've seen him training with the likes of Magomed Ankalaev. On the feet, I think it would be pretty even in the early phases. But as the fight gets on, because of Sean's great gas tank, yeah, it's not a given that Khamzat goes out there and beats Sean. I'd probably pick Sean. What do we think of Sean's comments about women's MMA? How's that going to go over with the company? What was the comment? Let's have a look. I didn't see the comment. Fucking hell, with the super chats coming in quick though. Don't worry, I'm going to get to them, boys. I'm going to get to them. And if I don't get to any of them, John's on standby to send the WhatsApp. Sean Strickland on women's MMA. Was it today? Was it today that he said it? Let's have a look. Because yeah, we know they're doing the media. He's doing the media day. Somebody asked him about some stuff before and he lost his mind, going on about gays and trans and all that type of stuff. AJ versus Ngannou. That's a great fight. Oh wait, do you know what? We'll talk about that in just a second. Got a few super chats piling up at the top here. Thanks for the quality videos during the workday, Bisping. Thank you, Dick Van Balsack. Good name. Even McCockiner. Says, hey Mike. Me and my father have been following you since early in your career. Thank you. Been super fans for a while now. Can you shout out my dad, Barry McCockiner? I can. Shout out Barry McCockiner. Hope you had a good time. Ballsack, we did that one. Dylan Dennis, we did you. We did you, Joel Miller. We did Voorhees the 13th. We did members for 20 months. Kostadin Hadzibanov. Right, okay, I don't know that. So, Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. So I did a video on this a couple of days ago. You will have seen it probably. John Miller, I am a good sport. I can take a good bit of piss taking, mate. People make fun of me. Have a laugh. I love it. I do. That's what I want to do on here. I like it when you guys, when you don't get too nasty. You know what I mean? You can take the piss. You can have a bit of crack. You can troll me. You know what I mean? Don't start talking about my childhood trauma, man. See, here's the thing, guys. You guys talk about my trauma, I'm going to fucking stab you. Simple as that. But yeah, I want to have a laugh. So Anthony Joshua. I don't understand it. Look, listen, apparently he's getting $50 million. That's ridiculous. Okay, good for him. That's a phenomenal amount of money. So, of course, that's the reason. And you could say he wants to keep it going, right? Yeah, sure. He gains nothing, though, other than the 50 million. The reason I say, look, listen, 50 million is ridiculous, but there's other people he can fight and get that money, right? He's already got a massive fortune. Could you imagine he loses to Francis Ngannou? It's over. It's over. Simple as that. And you can't count Francis Ngannou out. Of course, he's probably going to be a massive underdog for sure. Who's going to have him as the favourite? Nobody. But he landed on Tyson Fury. And Mike Tyson said that Anthony Joshua wouldn't be able to land the glove on Tyson Fury because Fury is too elusive. Well, Ngannou landed on Tyson Fury, sat him down in round 3, beat him up quite a bit. So if you can land on Tyson Fury, I think he can land on Anthony Joshua. And make no mistake, he has the power to put him out, as does Anthony Joshua to Francis Ngannou. And even though we saw Ngannou go 10 rounds with Tyson Fury, there's still a lot of questions that we haven't got answers to. Mainly, can he take a proper shot from somebody like Anthony Joshua? Because I think even in his UFC career, he never took a lot of damage. He was the guy dealing it out. He was the one doing the damage, knocking people's heads off, like he did to Alistair Overeem, right? So we still haven't seen, can he take a shot like an Anthony Joshua can give? I think he can. He probably can, but it's a question we haven't seen answered. Anyway, Jeremy Holman. What do we think about Sean's comments about MMA? Yeah, I just looked it up. What was his comments? Women's MMA. What was his comments? That they all suck? I think I saw something like that last week. I mean, Sean does what he does, doesn't he? Company man shitting on Francis. How have I shit on Francis? I'm not shitting on Francis. I think what Francis has done is unbelievable. Company fucking man, you fucking idiots. I think what Francis Ngannou has done is unbelievable, and I wish him nothing but the best, and he's going to get paid a fortune. I'm saying, why does Anthony Joshua do it? I'm not saying, why does Francis Ngannou do it? Francis Ngannou, of course. He's got nothing to lose. If Ngannou pulls this off, not only does he make a phenomenal amount of money on top of the payday he got from Tyson Fury, but then he gets to fight Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk to become the undisputed champion of the world. That would be the fastest rise to the undisputed champ in the history of boxing. That would be his third fight. Unbelievable. So how the fuck am I hating on Francis Ngannou, bro? Give your head a wobble. I said, why is Anthony Joshua doing it? He's the one risking everything here. So there you go, bro. Like Chael said, Ngannou isn't making that money. PFL is not a business. It's a charity. I don't know about that. But John's back with the super chats that I missed. I mean, you guys. So there's only a certain amount of super chats show up on my screen, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe, John, we could have a chat later in the back room. How do I think Cael Sanderson would have done if he came to the UFC? He's the god of wrestling, never lost in college. Huge fan of Believe You Me. Thank you, J-Man Games. J-Man Games. He would have done great. Would have done fantastic. I'm not sure how old he is now, but I know Cael Sanderson is a phenomenal wrestler, right? He would have done great. Any wrestler can cross over to the UFC for the most part, other than Ben Askren. Kidding, joking. Wrestling is such a fundamental part of MMA. To be successful in wrestling, the hardship, the way they train, what they go through, right? The level of competition in wrestling is ridiculous. If you don't train wrestling, if you haven't seen somebody try and achieve a proper wrestling career, you just don't know, right? These small little, like Callum's school, they partake in these little regional local wrestling tournaments. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of kids. Then they go to state, then they go to the nationals, then it's international. The level of the quality, the level of the technique with these guys is unbelievable. The conditioning, the strength. So anyone that's really successful in wrestling, they can all cross over to the UFC. It's a lot easier, and I'll say this, it's a lot easier to learn to strike than it is to learn to wrestle. That's a fact. And I'm a striker that hates wrestlers. Pat Galley says, Galley. Got to disagree about Francis's chin not being tested. He got rocked by Stipe, he did, and a minute later finished him. Also, Tyson landed an elbow flush to the face and Francis didn't even feel it. Yeah, look, listen, you're right, okay? But we haven't seen him against one of these top boxers. Right? These boxers apparently hit so much harder because that is what they do. Stipe started off as a wrestler. Anthony Joshua has been training since he was a little kid, right, to deliver punches. Right? So they do hit harder. The boxers that I've trained with, their punch power is phenomenal, even for smaller guys. So that's what I'm saying. Because you're right there, of course. Of course he had gloves landed on him. That would be silly to say he didn't. And he went the distance with Derek Lewis, who's the knockout king. But yeah, I want to see him take a shot. I mean, listen, Fury elbowed him. Fury didn't really show up for that fight. I know he says that he trained, but I don't think he did. His dad said that he didn't. He looked sloppy. He looked out of shape. It wasn't a good version of him. So there you go. Mike, have you ever heard of the new fight at Clitoris? And have you heard the controversy around it? Clitoris. You know, this is one that I never noticed. Because I'm from a town called Clitheroe, right? And any time I say it to people out here in America, they go, oh, excuse me, where are you from? Clitheroe. How do you spell that? And they go, oh my God, it's Clit Hero. And I'll be honest, growing up there my entire life, I never saw that. I guess I'm not that childish. So I haven't seen the controversy around Clitoris. Dave Carlton says, what do you think? Who do I think Paddy the Baddy could fight next? Personally, I'd love to see him fight the winner of Bobby Green or Jim Miller. I like that. Also, Leon should fight Shavkat Rakhmonov. Respect. Thank you, Dave Carlton. Tell you what, one person that's not going to like that comment, you know who, you know where I'm going. It is Bilal. Remember the name Muhammad. I think he's going to be next, right? But Shavkat Rakhmonov is 17-0 with 17 finishes. I think that's the real test for Leon Edwards. Outside of Shavkat, I think Leon goes through everybody. I think he smokes most of the other welterweights. I think the only one that can give him a real fight, a real challenge where there's an actual question mark is Shavkat Rakhmonov. Paddy versus Bobby Green and Jim Miller. When's that fight going down? April. Paddy fought December, January, February, March, April. Yeah. I don't know. Jim Miller. I mean, Jim's great, and he looks like he's really got it going still. You never know. They might give it to him. But he just fought Tony Ferguson. What is this? Are they giving all the guys on the way out to Paddy the Baddy? You know what I mean? Anyway, let's keep this going. See, go down there to the bottom of the chat. What's the chances of seeing Leon at UFC 300? I don't know. I do think they're going to announce the main event. That said, Holly Holm versus Miesha Tate, that was the main event for UFC 200. And in this society that we live in now, women have got to be the top of the bill. You know, women are just as good as men. I'm sounding like Sean Strickland. I'm being silly. No, Zhang Weili could be the main event. She might be. But Dana never announced that as the main event. If it was the main event, I think he would have said that. So I think either we're going to get... I mean, there's people talking about Khabib Nurmagomedov. I don't think that's going to happen. Izzy versus the winner of Saturday. That could do it. Who else? I don't know. Izzy versus the winner of Saturday for sure. George St. Pierre is not coming back. Yeah, anyway. Weebus says, hey, Michael, I read your book and I found it inspiring. Thank you very much. Quitters never win, by the way. Thank you all. I was pretty happy how that book turned out. Got a great response. A lot of people seem to enjoy it, so thank you, Weebus. You never know. Might have to come out with another one. Quitters never win. Or do they? I don't know. I've got anything else to talk about. So, chapter 2. I sat here in my house and I did a live on YouTube one day. And this little prick asked me if I get oiled up consistently. Here we go. John Brannigan's. Hey, Super Chatters, my editor's your friend. I smell. What cologne were you wearing in the Chael Sonnen face-off? If you haven't seen that, Chael Sonnen, when I squared up with him, you've probably heard this story. We squared up, and I'm trying to be all mean, get in his face. And Chael just says, what cologne are you wearing? You smell amazing. And it's an old school one, a bit of a naff one. Fierce. Abercrombie and Fitch. I used to like that back in the day. It used to be good. Used to love a bit of fierce from the old Abercrombie and Fitch. CM Punk will not be the UFC main event. Winners eventually quit. That is not going to be the follow-up. The highly demanded follow-up. Blue Ball Mo Mupper. Who's calling now? Buddy, piss off. Piss off. Are judges biased in the UK? No, they're not, mate. Here's what you don't know, right? Because, a judge is biased in the UK because of Darren Till versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and me versus Anderson Silva. I'll give you another one. Me versus Matt Hamill. They don't use English judges. They use American judges. When I fought Matt Hamill, there was 2 American judges and 1 English judge. Every country that they go to, they don't just use local judges because, of course, you might have a little bit of even subconscious bias, you know. They try and make it as fair as possible. So, you little dick splat. No, they don't. Right then. So, what's up, Mike? From a cold... -4 in Dublin. Have your Alex Volk video on the TV and this on the phone, earphones. Love the shows, pal. Keely, listen. The Irish stereotype... Right, you know what? As an Englishman, that you're not the smartest. You've got my Volkanovski interview on the TV. You've got this in your ears. No man alive can possibly consume 2 videos of Michael Bisping at once. You just can't hear it. No man alive. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. That's very, very kind. And you know, I'm just joking. My mum's Irish, and I got a lot of Irish family as well. So there you go. What's up from Cornwall? Do you reckon the UK will get a UFC event this year? Yes, definitely. 100%. Is there anyone that was in the UFC at the same time as me? Yes, there was, that I wanted to fight. I say it all the time, Neil. Rich Franklin's one of them, but there's a few others as well. Jeremy Holman's back. Sean said, thank you, Jeremy, and I apologize, mate. Sean said nobody wants to watch women's MMA. And that any male reporter in the room could beat either woman in the co-main event. Well, I don't think that's correct. I will say this. There's tremendous fighters in the women's MMA, but the talent pool isn't as deep as the men's. That's just a fact. Look at Amanda Nunes, Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Zhang Wei Li, Tatiana Suarez, Jessica Andrade. How is she not exciting? But that's just Sean being Sean, isn't it? I like it. He's just being funny. He's being controversial. I mean, he had that T-shirt on, didn't he, yesterday or today, whenever it was. Every woman in the kitchen and a gun in every hand. He's just playing up to the character that he is. Probably not a character, but he's pushing that brand, that persona. He's selling T-shirts and merch and all the rest of it. And a certain part of America love that shit. You know what I mean? A certain part don't like it. And that's great, because then you're triggering emotions on either side. One side, man, he speaks for us. That's our guy. He's one of us. And the other side are like, I hope this guy gets the shit kicked out of him. And that's what you want to do. You want to try and evoke emotion from the fans, right? From the buying public, whether or not they want to see you win or get knocked the fuck out, right? Your quid's in, you're making money. Willie Rock says, what's up with all these Dagestanis beginning to dominate the UFC? What are they feeding them? They're feeding them a strict diet of wrestling, and bear meat. From 2 years old. They're bred in tunnels, right? The fathers probably give them a right hiding. They were disciplined majorly. They were brought up on gruel, cabbage and stew. And they ran to school in the 6-foot snow, right? That's what they're feeding them. They're bloody good. They're bloody good wrestlers is the real answer. You know what I mean? Your suits are always meticulously tailored. Thank you very much. Do you go old school Savile Row for your suits, or do I go local? I don't go old school Savile Row. Just started working with a new tailor, actually. Got some new ones in the pipeline. Mark Russell. Shout out Mark Russell, based in Florida. So, yeah, but no, I would love to go old school Savile Row next time I'm over. But, yeah, they also wrestle bears. Exactly. What if they've had the teeth and the claws removed? Exactly what kind of pussy only wrestles a bear with no teeth and no claws? Come on, Khabib, get it together. Big fan here. Your thoughts on the undefeated Charlie Zelenoff joining the UFC? Well, tangy snack. Why do I know the name Charlie Zelenoff? Why do I know Charlie Zelenoff? Let's look him up. I don't think he's a fighter. I think he's anything but a fighter. I know the name though. Charlie Zelenoff. Oh no, he's a fighter. He's a fighter. He looks straight out of bloody Russia, doesn't he? He's just bloody. He looks like he's going hungry. Is he fighting? Is he fighting Jake Paul? Has he fought Jake Paul? Derek was a retired boxer. That Charlie Zelenoff. Why am I looking this guy up? Why have you done this to me? I'm leaving that alone. We're going back to the chat. All right, is that the guy who challenges people at boxing gyms and gets wrecked? Yeah, I think it is. He's a troll. That's a great question. Oh, you bastards. You got me. Fought Wilder. Oh, he did. Yeah, he went in to fight Wilder. I think Wilder messed him up pretty good. Was it Ian Trainspotting? Yeah, he does. He looks like Ewan McGregor when he's going through detox. Or, what's he called? Spud. He's just a wee dab. I love that film, Trainspotting. What a film. It was a shame about Trainspotting 2. Trainspotting 2 was a little, far be it from me to criticise the great director. What was his name now? I forget. But, you know, it wasn't nowhere near as good as Trainspotting 1. Trainspotting 1, absolute masterpiece. Yeah. Who would I match up Anthony Joshua with next? Zhang Jie Li. If I buy a copy of Quitters Never Win, will I sign it? I will. Only problem is, you got to find me, you got to track me down, and you got to have a pen in your hand. But you can do it, because Quitters Never Win. Uros Medic is very good. Dylan Dennis versus Chase Hooper. All right, take my money. Do it. Dylan Dennis, Chase Hooper. Love to see it. But the problem is, check this out. Dylan Dennis, Ryan Hall. That's a jiu-jitsu match. We don't want to see a jiu-jitsu match. What's your favourite lightweight fighter on the roster? Oof. Oh, you're putting me in a spot there. Favourite lightweight fighter on the roster? Lightweights. Where are we? I went past it. Islam Charles, Justin Arman, Chandler, Gamrot, Benil, Fazeev. It's hard, man. Do you know what? Charles Du Bronx Oliveira. I mean, I like them all. I'm a fan of all those guys. Those top guys are all phenomenal. Even outside of the top, from the 10 to the 15 mark, right? The lightweight division's stacked and they're all exciting. But I do get particularly pumped up when Du Bronx fights. The way he just walks forward. You know, not always the smartest. That's why he's lost fights. I'm not saying he's the best. He's one of the best. But yeah. Cameron Jones says, Bisping, you legend. What's your favourite place in the United States that I've been to? Favourite place in the United States? Oh, Jesus Christ, that's a tough question. I haven't seen too much of the country. That's what I want to do. I want to get out there and see some of the nature, some of the countryside. We were meant to go to Montana. I had to cancel for work. I went to New Orleans. The bayous, that was beautiful. That was incredible. I've only really been to the cities. You know what I mean? New York City, Chicago, Vegas, LA, etc. I want to get out and about. I want to get out to the Carolinas. We're going out to North Carolina. I'm going to go check that place out. Thinking about maybe even moving there. But anyway, how much did the TRT, the testosterone replacement era, hurt your career with you being one of the few clean fighters then? Would I have been the champ earlier? Well, very arrogant to say yes, but yes, I would have been. Because as soon as TRT was done away with, I became champion. Coincidence? I think not. That said, still tough challenges, still tough fighters. But they were all juicing out the minds. And they were saying it was legal. And they were doing more than TRT. They were just getting tested on fight night. So, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? All right, how long have we been going for? 15 minutes. I'll do another 15. And then we'll call it a day. Can't do it all day, can I? I'm starving as well. Done any interviews with Nina Drama or planning to? Her content is awesome. No, I haven't. But I did ask her to come on the podcast and be a guest, so we'll get her on. We'll get her on next week. Believe you me, next week, next Thursday, boom, done. Lock it in. Yeah, we'll get her on. Nina Drama. Bisping hits Newport, Rhode Island. Okay, Newport, Rhode Island, very quaint city. Check it out. Austin Mitchell, a how who tap to strikes. Don't know what that means. Don't ask to finger her. Oh dear. She had no problem with that, right? Do you know what? Oh God. That was two fighters having a laugh, having a crack. That was Tom just trying to put the same kind of energy on her, you know, because she kind of like asks suggestive comments, questions to fighters, tries to make them feel uncomfortable. So Tom was just messing with her. I guarantee that all the lads in his team said, hey, ask her this, just to kind of have a crack. She had no problem with it, but there were so many like shitty little websites and, you know, magazines and, not magazines, what am I saying? Newspapers, the Daily Mail, you know, writing articles about it, saying it's disgusting. Shut the fuck up. He was having a laugh. It was a bit of banter. So, yeah, there you go. I have a deal for you. You come to Jamaica and I promise you the best vacation of your life. Well, Cecilia, I've never been to Jamaica, but I'm going to go right about now. I do want to go. I want to go. Woke media. Yep, you're right. What would my advice be for somebody that wants to pursue an MMA career? Go for it, Willie Rock. Go for it. If you're young enough, if you're below 30, 30's getting on, but you still got time if you're naturally talented. If you're younger, go for it because you don't want to live a life of regret. So go for it, mate. Find a gym, get online, see where's close. You know, you don't have to go to the best place straight away because you're just learning the ropes. So all the best to you, Willie Rock. Eddie Sharp, do I think Max will get a shot at the lightweight belt if he beats Gaethje? Yeah. Yeah. Why wouldn't he? Gaethje's probably the number one contender. Do I miss the UK? Big time Andy Smith. Very British name, by the way. I was just out there for Christmas. See my mother and stuff, you know, see my family, my dad. Yeah, it's always great to be back. I do miss it. The problem was when I was there, it pissed it down with rain every single day. And I mean every day. And it was heavy and it was cold and it was dark. So we couldn't do anything. I was back there in summer for a while. I was there for about a month. Loved it. What a trip. Nice people, great pubs. You know, just a sense of humour on everyone, seeing family and old friends. And in the summer, we got lucky. The weather was great because it's normally shit in summer as well, isn't it? But at least you can go out the house. On this trip there, we were literally just confined in the house because it was pissing it down with rain. But we only went to see family anyway, so that's the main thing. Gaethje drinking too many golf beers with Daniel Cormier resorts to wrestling. All right. Is Taylor Swift a DEA agent? No. You've been going down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, haven't you? Let's go through these super chats real quick. I think I've done them all. John, if there's anything that I've missed, let me know on the chat or the text. We got 10 minutes, guys. Mike, do you think Dricus gets Sean down to the ground? I think he does. I think Dricus does take him down to the ground because it's how you set up the takedown. Dricus swings, awkward angles, awkward rhythm, big power, right? So if he connects, which of course he's going to connect over 5 rounds, and then if after he connects, he shoots, that timing, he will take him down. He will take him down. So yeah. Well, Kieran Byrne. Mike, you used to be a bit of a douche. What's your advice for a young lad trying not to be one? love from Donegal. Well, what kind of guy, what kind of self-respecting guy from Donegal uses the word douche? Should call me a tit or a wanker. You know what I mean? Irish don't use the term douche, but we'll go with it. And thank you, Kieran Byrne. Yeah, look, listen, you live and learn, don't you? You mature as you get older. And I definitely said things and acted in ways that I regretted. And I guess a lot of that probably came from trying to be accepted, trying to be liked, trying to seem cool, making the wrong decisions. A lot of the time when it came to the fighting stuff, just being myself, because I was emotionally immature. And then when I would fight someone, the blood would start pumping, the adrenaline would start flowing. And then you start acting in a way which is unattractive, you know. Now look at Sean Strickland and Dricus. Today they were fine. They had a little embrace in the hotel. But 296, Dricus is talking shit. Boom, the blood boils. Sean attacks him. Do you know what I mean? So my advice for you, mate, well, first of all, good luck in everything you do, Kieran. And yeah, I wish you all the best. Follow your heart, follow your dreams, be honest with yourself. Don't tell lies. And don't try and fit in. If people aren't, don't try and fit into shit that you don't want to fit into. You know deep down inside yourself whether it's right or wrong, or this is a place you want to be, or whatever you're doing. And if the inner voice tells you this is wrong, tells you not to be part of this crew, tells you not to do that, then don't do it. You know what I mean? Just be honest with yourself. Mikey B, subscriber from Wales. Have you got any Renato Laranja stories? Well, I've got one for you. Renato Laranja, awesome guy. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't betray his trust. I'm sorry. Who has the better pull-out game, Paulo Costa or Manel Kopp? Manel Kopp. Maybe. Probably. He looks like it lately. I'm sorry. Anyway, Mike, if you could step, we've done that one. Woodson versus Jordan, I said it earlier. Fight of the night. That fight's going to be incredible. Sean Woodson, I love watching him fight. Very tall, very long, very technical. Charles Jourdain, brilliant striker. Absolutely phenomenal. So I think there's a really good chance of that being fight of the night. Awesomely Autistic, you're right. When Renato Laranja co-hosted an episode of BYM, it was great. He's a very funny guy. I really like that guy. He's awesome. He's a really nice guy. But no man alive should be spending 90 minutes talking to random strangers by themselves when they got a lovely wife and a loving family out there. And on top of that, when you're starving. So I'm probably going to get going. I'm probably going to leave in a minute unless there's something juicy comes up. But that's about it. Saturday, I'm doing a live watch along of the main event. D. Gannon, my pleasure, brother. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm doing a live watch along of the main card. Me and Mrs. B. We'll be sitting there. I'll have a little drinkle stinkle, watch the fights, kick back, relax, answer your questions. And yeah, in the meantime, if you haven't subscribed, do us a favor, subscribe. And check out the videos every day. John Brannigan, my editor, spends he spends a long time editing these videos, and the editing's really good. You know, and the inserts and stuff like that. We try and make it funny. We try and make it interesting. So, you know, keep an eye out on the channel. Thanks for watching. Am I the same Mikey B as was on the Scouse house scene? Annoyingly enough, I kind of was on the Scouse house scene, but I don't call it Scouse house. I used to play house, techno, trance, hard house, old school piano stuff. But the donk, that is the Scouse house stuff. Yeah, he played at Wigan Pier. So there was two Mikey B's. And there's another one down south, old hardcore Mikey B as well. So that's why towards the end of my DJing career, and I use that term loosely, I did stop the Mikey B stuff. I said, because there's fucking too many Mikey B's. No man alive should be getting confused with the Mikey B's. So I changed it. I'll give you a quick story. Then I'll sign off on this. I was DJing, and I was always known as Mikey B. And we had the MCs on. They never fucking stop rapping and stuff over the top of you. Some good ones, though. And I said to the MC, before I went on, I said, right, look, listen. I said, I'm changing my name from Mikey B to Mickey Bisping. or Mick Bisping. I can't remember what it was. Michael Bisping, fuck knows. I said, so do me a favour. I said, don't make a big deal of it, right? Don't make a big deal of it, but just like start referring to me as Mickey Bisping, right? And then I think over time, there you go, right? And what I used to do is, you know, when I was taking over, because I was a bloody attention whore, when I'd start my set, I'd stop the other DJ and I'd do a little scratch or whatever, then start, you know. But when I stopped it, the MC goes, ladies and gentlemen, or he wouldn't say that, he'd say, Monroe's crew in the house. He said, we've got a special announcement for you. We have an official name change in the building. Mikey B is dead. You're now rocking with Mickey Bisping in the house. Let's go, DJ. And I'm like, what the fuck? I literally just said, make it subtle. Anyway, there you go. Little anecdote from the DJ days. Do I think Zabit Magomedsharipov will return for UFC 300? Don't think so. I don't think so, because, and I don't think that would be the big one. The big, you know, he was an incredible fighter, undefeated, but he hasn't fought in quite some time, and I think the newer generation may not still be familiar, with him. So yeah, what a tip move by him. You're right. Jungle is massive. That's correct. Very excited to say that in a couple of weeks I'll be well, not a couple of weeks. When is it? March. Longer than a couple of weeks. I'll be going to a Chasing Status concert out here in LA. So shout out Chasing Status and shout out Soul from Chasing Status that came to Tales from the Octagon 2. So yeah, right. That's your time, boys and girls. We're done, unless I've missed any super chats. Yeah, no, looks all good to go at my end. Thanks for watching. As I said, Saturday live watch along. Tune in for that. Everyday videos going up. So wherever you are. Oh yeah, no, I always do this. We haven't done this for a while. Where are you in the world? I like to know where you are. Because it's just interesting for me. Put a donk on it. Let's go. What was that? Blackout Crew? Put a donk on it. Yeah. Give me your locations. Here we go. Belgium, Chicago, Missouri, man. Halifax. Used to work up there. Scotland. Absolutely. But we've got a new member. Hi from Thailand. Welcome. The Wirral, fucking hell, mate, over the water. Charlotte, North Carolina. Coming there soon. Dublin. Middlesbrough. Newfoundland, Virginia. Michigan. Rill. Held hostage in a bank. Well, I'm wishing you the best, Weebus. All the best. Pittsburgh. Cornwall. Used to love Cornwall. Beautiful place. Still love Cornwall. Still a beautiful place. Just haven't been there for a bit. Mississippi. Josh Hayes. I thought that was Josh Haynes from The Ultimate Fighter for a second there. South Africa, mate. Love South Africa. Beautiful place. I say it every time, though, but I almost got killed. Swaziland. San Jose, California. The home of one Luke Rockhold. Mansfield. Just outside of Nottingham. Kyle Beach. Used to have a lot of tournaments there back in the day. Northampton. All right, Manchester, Seb Metcalf. You all right, mate? Clayton Lee Moores, just down the bloody road. Missile, mate. Clayton Lee Moores. Through Great Harwood. Other side. Harwood. Yeah. I thought Paul Felder was fighting Miller. He's not. Wales. Jan Robertson. Calgary. Wankchester. That's very, very immature. Anchorage, Alaska. I want to go there. I want to go to Alaska. It looks beautiful. Perth, Scotland. And that is where I do believe that this is not a really good Scottish accent, but I do believe my editor is from Perth. Right, what's going on? I used to be able to do it. Right, fuck's sake, mate. I used to be able to do a good one. I'm a little out of touch. What's your favourite Bob Marley song? Too little the rising sun. Anyway, whatever, who cares? It's time I went in it. Leeds, Albania. All right. I used to know a few Albanians. Missed my super chats. MGLP. I am sorry. Sounds Glaswegian. Well, that would be Scottish. That would be Scottish. Guys, girls, men, women. Anything else? I shall see you next time.